JD,
Hey Keith, how you doing?
doing good. How are you today?
I'm doing well, man. It's a beautiful sunny day. How are you?
I'm doing well. Almost end of the day. It's going on.
Good.
So, JD, I want to ask you about Manuel Roy and you, how things are going between you and what's happening in your world.
Oh man, things are going good. The past like month or two has been like really busy. I finally had a chance to like pull back and relax a little bit. Uh, But things are going good. It's a lot of positive things, a lot of projects going on, getting to work with a lot of amazing people that like I love and admire again, which is it's been great.
Amazing, amazing, JD. And JD, I want to talk about JamPlay.com. You have done three new courses along with them. So,
I
can you,
did.
can you tell me a bit about the course and what exactly was happening behind the scene?
Online website.
I
Uh,
lost you for a moment.
all right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Technology, man. Sometimes it just has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
So yeah, JamPlay is an online website that does guitar courses, it does guitar lessons. And I did a course for them back in 2019 called How to Write Epic Metal.
Hmm.
And they reached out to me at the end of last year to work with them again. And this time to do not just one course, but three courses. So there's one big like beginner course that I worked on that basically goes over all the fundamentals of music theory on guitar, specifically as it's applied in heavy metal. Uh, and it was fun because I went through and I built the course in a way that I wish I had been taught from the very beginning. Just because like everyone relates to their instrument in a completely different way. Like there's always going to be like the basics, like an A is always going to be an A, or like a B flat's always going to be a B flat. But how we understand that instrument, clicks differently for everybody. So what worked for me to help me learn, I put together the course according to that. So this way, I felt like I took what my difficulties were,
Mhm.
and helped kind of clear things up in a way that I wish that I'd been taught. Uh, and then there are two other courses. Another one is a little bit more advanced, and it kind of breaks down how to play guitar solos, again, in the realm of heavy metal. So it starts with like an easy one, an intermediate one, and one that's a little bit more difficult. And then the last one is exploring the 7-string guitar, which that was a fun one because when I first picked up the 7-string, I was extremely intimidated. I was like, what the hell is this thing? It's like an extra string. I was like, it's an extra string. What do I know? I'm not going to know how to do this. But then I found out when I got my first 7-string, within 20 minutes of playing it, I was like, all right, I get this. I'm never going back to a 6-string ever again. So it was really great for me to have an opportunity to kind of like demystify, the extended range guitar and kind of say, hey, if you know how to play a 6-string, you kind of know how to play a 7-string. It's just that the neck's a little bit thicker.
Wonderful, wonderful. And how jamplay.com is going to connect with the students, to be honest? Do they have to make some kind of payment to learn these courses, or how does it work?
Yeah, the way JamPlay works is that there's a monthly subscription. So
Hmm.
basically, you go there, you sign up, and then you have access to all of their courses. Whether you want to learn heavy metal, you want to learn country, you want to learn classical, like they have literally everything. Um, I think they have some courses that you can buy as individuals. So like you can buy just like an individual like package. But there's also truefire.com, which is like their sister company that does packages like that, where it's just here, you just buy like the course. What's cool about JamPlay is that like they make it so that like it's really easy for people to go there and kind of like digest the information very, very easily. And they have like a whole slew of like really great instructors, people like like Gretchen Men, who's a phenomenal guitar player, Doc Coyle from God Forbid, Tosin Abasi is one of their teachers. He has like a course on there. So it's just there's a wealth of knowledge from like all over the place.
Wonderful. And have you ever thought that you want to do it by yourself?
You know, that's interesting. I didn't like when I first picked up guitar. The idea of teaching never really crossed my mind initially. Um, I guess it was because like I never really had confidence in myself to like be able to teach somebody like when I first picked up guitar. Um, but as I had been playing for like a while and when I was living on Long Island, I was playing around in a local band a lot and I was playing pretty regularly. And someone that I knew from high school that had like come and seen us and like hung out in like our social group wanted guitar lessons. And he was just like, I want to learn from you specifically. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. So I started doing guitar lessons with him, and that experience of being able to take what I had learned and realizing that I had learned a lot was eye-opening, and it was really cool for me to connect with somebody through music, but in a more intimate way, if that makes any sense. Because it's like, I can write a song and play it and people can enjoy it. I can enjoy performing, and like there's that connection of, oh, we understand each other. We understand the emotion that's in that song and that performance. But being able to take what I've learned and give somebody else that ability to do the same thing on their own, it was an amazing feeling unlocking that initially. And then from there, like I periodically have had students like one-on-one private one-on-one students. And then in 2019, I had the opportunity to do the initial JamPlay course, and that just blew my mind because like that wasn't even something that I was even aware of being a possibility. But it took the same feelings of being able to give that gift of expressing oneself to a wider audience, and it felt great. Like I enjoyed myself the entire time I was there. And same thing when I went back for these last 3 courses. It's just I think it's such a gift to be able to like help people understand how to unlock all those feelings that they have inside of themselves.
Sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. And recently, you, William, Jason, and Chris joined together, and you had some practice session. So, can you tell me about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Individually, like I've known all 3 of them from like different things I've done, different points of my life. Like I met everybody. And like I absolutely love all 3 of those guys. Like they're great and they're amazing people and amazing musicians, but they had never met each other. So like we've been working since like I don't know, October, November of like last year as like a collective unit as Angels on the Battlefield. But we're doing it remotely because I was in Ohio still. Jason's in Long Beach. Like Chris is up in like an hour north, and then you have William who's in Hollywood. So like we're all scattered all over the place. So when I got back from JamPlay, from filming the courses, we had our first in-person rehearsal ever, and it was really cool to see all 3 of these musicians that like I adore and admire and like just love as individuals come together and start the beginnings of like a friendship with themselves and then play music together like as a unit. It was a magical moment, I have to say.
Wonderful, wonderful. And as far as Angels on the Battlefield is concerned, I know you guys were working on a lot of singles lately. So how is it all coming up?
Mm. It's going really well. We have one single in particular that we were working on kind of like as like the flagship song for us to like come together as a unit and be like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to shape everything. But right now the focus for us is now that we have that done is we're putting together a showcase for not just us and not just the live show that we have that goes along with the band, but for the movement in general. So like this whole conquer your battlefield movement, this mentality of, we all have the ability to face what it is that we're dealing with inside, and outside as well. So we're putting together the showcase that's not just for us, but for a couple other bands that are within the Los Angeles area that have similar missions, because we want to showcase, that we as a society, as a group, can come together for a bigger mission. So we're kind of pushing that that idea, and it's not just about one band going and doing something and then like making it and like, hey, look at me, we're a band, pay attention to us. It's like, hey, we're coming together, we all believe in this, we believe in you, like we want you, you guys out there to feel as positive and confident as we do. And so we're spreading that message through our music, and that's kind of what we've been focusing on, is putting together that showcase.
Wonderful. And do you guys also working on a studio album anytime sooner?
Yeah, there's 2 full albums of music that are completely written, and then like ideas for a third one. So that's definitely in the works. But right now it's more of like getting the foundations of like the business side of stuff kind of cemented before we can, move forward with all that. But artistically speaking, I think all of us are just constantly working on stuff. Like, Chris is a composer for television, and so he has a music library. So he's constantly like putting stuff out. And he's working with a million different people at any given moment. Like that man is like a plethora of musical ideas. So he's always working on stuff. Jason's getting back into the realm of music, so he's working with not just us, with like a couple other bands, and he's always just writing stuff on the side as well. And same thing with William. He's also just very good at compositions and like arrangements. So we're always working with the artistic side of things.
Sounds good. And any chance of bringing your full-time vocalist to the band, or you want to keep it just the instrumental?
I mean, the project itself is instrumental, mainly because we want to focus on the theatrical aspect of stuff, and that's just how, at least when I've written for the project, everything comes out and makes more sense for me when I'm playing guitar. So I've tried a million different times to write lyrics, but I personally have never felt like I was saying what I fully wanted to say artistically through lyrics, which is weird because I'm literally saying something with words. So I just always felt more confident in just playing guitar and writing out just musical instrumental pieces. That being said, I am totally down to work with a vocalist and do like a guest thing, be like, hey, Angels on the Battlefield featuring this person, or this person featuring Angels on the Battlefield, because I'm always about teamwork. I'm always about working with other people. I'm always about, spreading a positive message, because I think in general, this world would just be a better place if more people would, take their ego aside, put it in a corner and just, do things for the betterment of the world and for others, and to kind of spread that positive message.
Sounds good. And recently you have also started working along with another group who are into mental illness awareness, and you are working into this Is My Brave stage show. So can you tell me a bit about that and how is it going on?
Yeah. This Is My Brave is a nonprofit where their mission is literally to like have the conversation about like whatever it is that any given person is struggling with, and just kind of get rid of that stigma around talking about what you're feeling, what you're going through. And apparently they reached out to me a few weeks ago just to see if I was interested in auditioning for their yearly live performance. And the way it works is, if I'm understanding this correctly, is that there's like different like chapters that are in different cities. So like in different cities, they have, these yearly performances. So they reached out to me to see if I wanted to audition to, share my story and potentially do some sort of like creative performance to say, hey, this is what I'm going through. This is how I've, conquered it, and go from there. So I haven't actually done the audition yet. That will be coming up, but I'm very excited to meet up with these people like in person, because I love everything that the organization is. It's like the widespread. I love that it's very widespread with everything.
Sounds good. And how is the works along with URock Foundation? You've been writing some singles along for the charity of URock Foundation. So how does it coming up? And do you work more on that one these days?
Yeah. Well, I'm constantly trying to put together stuff for the JD McGibney and Friends project. So I have a couple of different songs in the works with different people, but how artists can go back and forth. Sometimes you get a little critical of their writing, and then also everyone's just busy, so it takes time for things to kind of like line up. So that's constantly in the works. And then everything that Angels on the Battlefield it works on is going to be partnered up with URock. So like portion of like proceeds from like royalties are going to get donated, portion of things that we earn from like payments in general is going to be donated to help them with their mission. So that's just an ongoing thing.
Sounds good. And apart from Angels on the Battlefield and JD McGibney and Friends, do you have some other works in progress?
At the moment, kind of just getting back into the world of being back in Los Angeles, slowly meeting up with people again, which that's been like amazing. I'm so happy to be back in LA. I've had the opportunity to go and play guitar for Kai Pusar, who's a Swedish rock artist who came over for a showcase. So I got to do that, which is phenomenal experience. And there's something called Ultimate Jam Night here in Los Angeles, which happens, I think it's bi-weekly now because of everything with COVID. Used to be weekly, but slowly getting back to the things. It's bi-weekly. So I was recently invited to do a performance, which coming up on a couple of days, I will have my first time back as part of the Jam Fam, as they call it, which I'm really excited about that too. So there's a lot of things that I'm excited about, is if you couldn't tell.
Good. Sounds good. Sounds good. And I know you've been constantly working on the mental illness awareness, and how has that been helping people? And do a lot of people come and reach out to you? Do they for helps and everything?
The feedback and the response that I've been getting from just focusing on like that mission and like that being such an important part of me, and like me outwardly like trying to change the conversation has been great. Like I've been doing the Conquer Your Battlefield podcast, where I interview somebody and basically have a candid, real discussion about something that that individual, whatever my guest has dealt with themselves, and like they open up and share their experiences. And a whole bunch of times people have reached out to me after any given episode and just said, hey, thank you so much for doing this or having this specific guest on. And like some of my guests have even had people reach out to them privately and be like, hey, thank you so much for sharing like what it is that you've gone through. And the response that I'm seeing, that like the way I'm interpreting it, is that like people are seeing what my guests and I are doing, and they're feeling more comfortable with themselves, saying, oh, this person went through literally the same thing that I'm currently going through, or this person went through the same thing that I went through when I was a kid or whatnot. And they seem like they're becoming more okay with the fact that like they're not necessarily okay, if that makes sense. And that they're not actually alone, because more people are dealing with the things that they're dealing with as well. So like they're feeling less isolated, which speaking from personal experience, there have been many times in my life where I've felt isolated, or I felt like somebody wouldn't understand what it is that I was going through, when in reality it's like, oh, I was just dealing with anxiety, or like I was in a depressive state because of my anxiety or whatever it is that I was going through. And it's like, oh, this is just how like people react to these certain circumstances. So I'm not by myself. Somebody else understands. So I'm very grateful for everyone that's participated in these podcast interviews. I'm very grateful for the people in social media and the public who have been interacting and being part of the conversation as well, because that's, you know, ultimately the goal is to have everybody join in on the conversation, but not to degrade what's going on, to kind of like support one another. So I'm very grateful for how everything's turning out.
Sounds amazing. And you've been working on a great cause. You're making amazing music. You've been connecting to a lot of people around the world. And I believe your music and your cause has to reach around the globe. It has to go everywhere, every part of the world. So
Yeah.
as of now, how has the reach been on a global scale?
I mean, I very much agree with you. And I think you pointing out that everything has allowed me to connect with amazing people. You are one of those people. So I want to say thank you, Keith, for, you know, being here, you know, as part of my life. um, it's been great. I've been able to connect with people literally like on the other side of the world. Like I've connected with people, you know, in Europe, in Asia, and South America, Canada, Mexico, here in the United States, because, you know, like from, you know, California to Arkansas, it's like two different planets sometimes. But it's been fantastic. And I think it's really cool that we live in an age where we have the ability to literally talk to somebody thousands of miles away in real time through video, through audio. And it makes the world such a much smaller place, and it puts us all in connection with one another. And I think, you know, it's a great way for us to really see how similar we are, and the fact that, like, hey, we're all going through all these different things at the same time, and it's similar things. You know, we might have different cultures. You know, it's great because we get to share those cultures. We get to share recipes because, you know, food's amazing. But it's I'm absolutely floored by the reach of what this movement has gotten so far, and it's pretty much at the beginning stages.
Amazing. And what would be some of the upcoming plans for Angels on the Battlefield?
Well, the main thing right now is focusing on putting together that showcase, the industry showcase, which is, you know, again, not just for Angels on the Battlefield, but for the movement, which is, you know, conquer your battlefield.
Yeah.
So hopefully within the next couple of months, we will cross our fingers, get the ball rolling on that.
Sounds amazing. And JD, finally, any message that you want to give to the fans around the world?
I'm gonna just end it with you know, remember that no matter what it is that you are going through, whatever today, whatever it is that you went through yesterday, or something that you're going to be facing 6 months from now, you always have the strength to conquer your battlefield.
Sounds great, JD. And JD, I want to thank you so much for giving me again this opportunity to have this wonderful interview with you, to talk about a lot of things again. And thanks again for giving me today this opportunity. And I look forward to have more conversation with you in the coming days. And take care of yourself and have a great day.
You too, Keith. Thank you so much for having me back. You
Yeah.
are probably one of my favorite interviewers because you're just always so happy and smiling. Like, it's infectious. I can't help but smile when I'm talking with you, man.
Thanks, JD. Take care of yourself, JD.
Later, man.
Yeah, bye.